Hello and good afternoon or wherever you're at. Hello, hello. And today is Monday already. And boy, you know, in my day was pretty rocky rolly. So here we go into Mercury in retrograde and planets in moments. And oops, I just got a text and I'm wondering if it's Regan. So just a second, hold on. And of course, I'm charging my phone, so I didn't have my phone. Oh, can't find the link. Okay, so I will resend it. Okay, so just a second, because Regan can't find the link, and I will resend it to him here. Da, 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 da. Sent items. Okay, because I sent it by my phone yesterday, so that's probably part of the problem here. Okay, I gotta do some things here because Regan can't get the link, and so let me do something here. What am I doing? What am I doing? What am I doing? I haven't had to do this before while I'm on air here. So settings. Uh, Let me go to guess. No. Okay, guys. So today is one of those days where things are happening and I apologize. So, what I'm going to do is I am going to, I know what I can do. I just got an idea. So, I'm on air doing something in the background here. So, I apologize. Invite a guest, copy to clipboard, email. Number one. To Regan. So Regan is going to join us here in a minute. Send. There we go. You know, sometimes I'm so grateful that I have a guide, that is what's his name? Roger Dodger. And uh and he he is a gift to me, and there's this part of me that I have to trust that it knows what to do. And guess what I just did? Well, instead of getting out and doing it, I just opened another tab. And hello, Peter. Uh, uh, that I just opened up another tab and I did it. And it's like I love this part, when we trust the process. And it just is one of those things that when we go forward and we trust the process and we listen to that inner voice, that positive inner voice. It's interesting how when we trust that positive inner choice, that we get it. And I'm Natasha Venter. I'm a psychic medium. Yes, I have the ability to trust this process that we go through. But at the same time, though, it's amazing how I just kind of, me who has had all these technology problems, now has uh, uh, he's my guide from a past life. And so Roger Dodger, he's a guide from my past life, and he helped me out with technology. And here's Regan Forston. We're doing Dance of the Soul today. We're talking about past lives. We talk about how to go through things, and he's in his vehicle. No wonder he's doing this dance that he's doing today.
Uh-huh.
Hello, hello, hello.
Hi, good
And
to see you. Yeah, I did find the link. It was just way further down because I've been so busy the last few days. I guess you sent it a couple of days ago rather than just today. So,
no, last night I sent it last night.
oh wow, because I had a whole mess of emails on there that I didn't even look at today. Just been running around, getting ready to have company coming tomorrow, and it's her brother and we're gonna miss you at this month's party because we have about 15 people coming. This one we do once a month to try to honor the nieces, nephews that are new to the area, and then the nephew's mother and father are coming out, and there's like 3 birthdays involved in this, so we're gonna have a birthday party for. It's gonna be big.
Yeah, I know. I was down there this last month in August, and I was grateful to be there, and I miss you guys so much being in the physical realm.
Miss you too. It was nice having you as a guest at the monthly big dinner that we have, family dinner we have.
Yeah, and I was grateful to be able to help too, being a guest there, living in the house for a week. But, that was the gift that, Regan and I have been, we got Peter that is watching us right now. And I don't know who else is behind the scenes, but he's the one that's commented. But I know that he's new that Regan and I have been doing this show for what now? In September will be it was
2 years. It'll be.
Yeah, this week. Is it this week?
Yes, I think so, because my anniversary was yesterday, my 8-year anniversary with Patricia. So that's what I was so busy over the weekend planning a special thing that we did that she didn't know about, so it was really fun.
Oh, cool, cool. What a gift, a gift.
So where's Peter from?
He's from Manchester, England. So
we're getting a lot of people from Manchester, England. What's that? Three people that are right around there in the last week or two. And it's the middle of the night there, right? I mean, 6 o'clock. It's got to be like 6 o'clock in the morning, or it must be.
Yeah, I forget that I'm one that what's the word? I trust other people with the time zones better than I. My dyslexia and our time is so wonky for me when it's my time zone or with time stuff. So
Peter,
I just kind of go, leave it up to other people.
Yeah, let us know what time it is, Peter. There, I'm guessing it's like 6 or 7 in the morning, something like that. Yeah. So he'd be either goes to bed really late, stays up all night listening to podcasts, or whatever. But Peter, if you have any questions about the afterlife, let us know. I'm a researcher. Natasha's tuned into the afterlife like that, and I have to be in hypnosis myself, or my clients have to be in hypnosis, and then they can be like her, where they can communicate with people from the other side through hypnosis. But it's really cool. It's just like it's a new age we're going through right now, Natasha, with this portal that's been open wider than normal for people to visit the other side, or to put their trust in good mediums or people like me that try to get people to the other side to get answers to their questions on how to live their life better.
Yeah, and I'm glad that you used the word good. Good people, good integrity, because that's one thing that I know working in the spiritual realm of people, that there's some people that hold a lot of ego, there's a lot of people that hold a lot of not the best integrity, and woo. And so with that, hi there. Obviously he's on this phone and it fell. And that when with this integrity thing, that it is a tricky place to find, and if somebody doesn't feel right to you, trust that gut feeling, because it's amazing how many people don't. And I know that I can speak for Regan here, that he is an amazing. When I met him on air, I felt gifted to know him, and then when I met him in person, no doubt Regan is Regan, and so with that the kindness that he has, and the gift, and so we just make a wonderful team here that I can observe for ourselves here. But he says it's just after midnight there, so 4 o'clock, and then time hasn't changed yet. And I know that England does a wonky, they do a couple more hours than we just do one fallback, and I think you guys do 2 or 3. I forget. I had a friend from England that he would help me out with a lot of that dance, but now he's living in New Zealand, so
8
it's
hours.
Yeah, 8 hours. Yeah, it'll change a little bit. So with that, today was one of those things that I don't
Yeah,
know
8 hours
you,
7 minutes.
Regan.
Okay, thanks, Peter. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Peter, what's going on? Yeah.
So with that, we were all kind of discombobulated for a minute. So with this show today, that I don't know if you, Regan, that you've been dealing with this in your area, but for me, I have been dealing with several people who have had a lot of guilt. And I know that I've been around a lot of people who have lost like parents and lost, loved ones, lost friends, lost, these different people. And there's been some guilt about how, like, I had a friend who, they didn't get to where their parent was, who passed away in time. They had to travel several hours distance on a plane. And it's one of those things that, when you have these people that we got life, and we're trying to do our better, but then we hold this guilt towards certain things. And I know that there's a lot of people out there that are struggling right now with, guilt about how, oh, I spoke the wrong way to that person. And I know Mercury in retrograde, it triggers us all, it triggers what we're doing. There's guilt about, why didn't I do that better? I should have treated myself better during that time. Or it's one of those things that we're all struggling with life. Did he fall off the chair? Plus an age thing. No, he didn't fall off a chair. He's actually did he fall off his That's pretty good. So, Regan right now is in his travel van. He got a van together, and he put a bed in it, and got windows and stuff like that. And Regan, you're frozen, and I don't know if it's me who's frozen. But um he put the van together, and it's been amazing how now he drives that around as his car. And I guess he was getting things together, and stopped on the side of the road for his show, for the show, which I'm grateful for. So with that, and this is one thing about you're going to learn when you watch our shows, that Regan and I do life. We do real life. And that's the thing that I love about how, when people ask me about intuitive work, in doing intuitive things, that they ask me, how do I know things? Well, I'm not a reader with my dyslexia. I'm not a really big reader. I don't do a lot of science books. I don't do a lot of knowledge books. But I've gotten a lot of my skills from being intuitive my whole life. And I remember being born. I remember a lot of past lives. It's almost like a near death experience. I've kind of gathered in the last year here, that when I had almost a near death experience by being born. And so I travel into different worlds, different dimensions. I had somebody, a good friend of mine, called me a bridge between dimensions, because of where I work. And so with that we just kind of do life. And that's what's so interesting about when Regan and I talk about something. He's a gifted man who's been on this planet for many, many years, who's gone through many different things. And, I do have done a lot the same thing. So with that when we're talking about things like today's theme was going to be about guilt. And, of course, Mercury's in retrograde right now. And what is Mercury about? Communication, technology, the flubble of life. I call it flubbles, not mistakes. Flubbles of life. And when we're doing life and that kind of thing, we're going to be dealing with a lot of these ups and downs. And if you notice that Regan popped off, and I just kept rolling with it, because that's how I deal with life, is I try to roll with it. And I do try. And it's nothing that, and this has happened before with us, so it's a practice try. Is Regan on the floor? No, Regan's not on the floor, but his iPhone probably got too hot or something, and it discombobulated for him. It's kind of funny. So Regan has been here, but yet he for those who are coming on, I can see there's a couple people popping on now, that he has been having a Mercury in retrograde moment today. Are you able to connect directly to spirit, or do you need to go through Roger Dodger? No, I connect, and I definitely connect. I just have guides that give me inspiration to work through my, I'm going to call it, not so good practiced things. So like for me, technology has been a big struggle for me, and I have not been able to do a lot of things. Uh and it's an interesting dance. And so the universe knows that in this business that we're in right now, that technology is a big part of it. And Roger Dodger, my guide, who he's a really good friend of mine from past lives, and sometimes I'm his guide and sometimes he's my guide. And so with that we've kind of done this. Um and so with that I use my own intuition, and then I interact with angels, guides, spirit. I ask family members of someone who, like if I'm doing a session with someone, sometimes a family member will come in and give me some inspiration on how to help someone, and or give them a message. And so that's how that works. So Sue, hi Sue, how are you doing? Thank you for joining us here. Can I ask you to look into something? Yes, you can. Well, Regan is off, and like I said, the theme was going to be guilt today, but it looks like it's going to be whatever the universe wants us to look at today, which I'm open to. I'm open to whatever works with life here. So, as Regan is working on trying to reconnect, what would you like me to look at, Sue? And Peter, thank you for being here and interacting. I'm grateful for that. So, I know for me today that it was one of those days. Okay, so Sue, you said uh call the paramedics. No, he's not on the floor, so I'm not going to call that paramedics. Um I know you can't tell when someone is going to die, but my father-in-law is not doing well. Do you see him crossing over the coming months, uh, or longer than months? Okay. Can you give me his initials, please? First name and maybe last initial or something in that kind of category, please. And I will look at his lifeline and tell you what I see in his lifeline. When I look at someone's body, I can see they're tethered to this planet. And when I look at somebody, that I can see if it's thinner or if it's longer. Okay, thank you. I'm not going to post that, but I will. Uh, let's see here. Okay, so to see if I'm connected to the right person, and you say yes or no. I see him. He's pretty gray, and I even as I see him now, he's looking grayer in the skin. Sometimes he has a scruffy, like he hasn't shaved in a couple of days. He's not necessarily a thin man, but yet he's thinned. You know how you kind of thin down, even though you're still bulky in in his body. Does this make sense? I want to make sure I'm connected to the right person. He's got a joyful personality, but he's not feeling very good, so he's very off his personality. He's off who he is. I'm looking for a confirmation, Sue, please. Gotta wait for somebody to type sometimes. If I have the right person, I am seeing that. Oh, personal. Thank you for confirmation. She says yes, that I got the right person. So with that, what I'm seeing is sadly that he is, um, and when I hear, yes, I cannot predict passing because this is a personal journey. Around the holidays is what I'm hearing, and I'm asking this year or next year. This year. Holidays, definitely before the holidays. No. and when I see the holidays, I'm seeing more like Christmas. And there's an anniversary coming up about the holidays that he's going to have a harder time with, and that's what is pulling him off that way. So with that's going to be hard. And I apologize. Oh, it's so hard when we lose loved ones around the holidays. It's a mixed blessing. Holidays are, and we have a lot of loving older generation. Like I've lost several of my dear friends that are in their 70s this last year, and it's just time. There's another time. There's like where we just got in the peak of a time zone of people passing. I call them kind of like there's these oh, you're very welcome, Sue. Sue gave me thank you with hearts. That there's like these portals. That's a good word for it. Portals where people pass. And there's this one that was going to be hitting September, end of August, September, and there's another one that's like a small one that's around the end of October, and then there's another big one going into the new year, November through the new year. And it will be around, I hear around the 16th is when it's going to close up a little bit. And then there's going to be another one in later spring that we're going to lose another group of people. And so with that when we have these portholes that of people shifting out, oh my gosh, like for me last Monday, a week ago, I lost two friends. On the same day, and then the queen passed shortly before that, and then there's somebody else that I heard. Then there was a mother that passed, and I had another friend's mother that passed, and it's like, oh my gosh, there's just all these things. So no, Regan is fine. Regan is very fine. I know that his phone probably, I'll send him a text real quick. Um, I'll ask him if he's okay. Because sometimes his phone does this. If you've been here before, uh, that it works, and that's the thing, that as we go forward in life, I'm hoping, because this is the one story about life, and actually it was phone that's messed up, so I don't know if he's going to get this text or not, because sometimes his phone gets a little hot, especially being in his van. So with that, the going through our life and managing our life, that like for this short little spans, you know, I got told to talk a little bit about guilt, and it was kind of interesting how, that this kind of is going to slip into this day somehow. Is that, is Regan feeling guilty about not being able to be on the show today? And well, I hope not, because but he knows that I'll carry it. He knows that I'll be able to carry the show. And so with that when we go forward and when we're doing the dance of life and managing the things that happen. If you notice, I care about Regan deeply, deeply care about him, but I know he's okay. I know he's okay. It's all about technology, and technology is going to be a little bit wonky. And that's the thing is that's where I'm lucky I have my intuition, because the fact that I checking in with Regan and I can hear him frustrated about things not going right for him today, because he wants to be here. He does care about life. He does care about me, and he cares about our show. He really holds good integrity. So with that going forward and doing our thing. And so I want you to know that your hubby is going to really uh work on things. And here comes Regan again. Let's see when he pops in through all the way. Tell him to press the nurse call button. No, no, I'm not going to do that. It would be the Apple phone department, I think. Nurse call button. So as we go forward and managing our life, let's see if he can be here. Oh no, he's not going to be here. He's probably having problems with his Wi-Fi or his his mobile data is what he's having troubles with. So having guilt, and Regan, if you can hear me, I want you to know that don't worry about this. I understand that today is a day. Oh man, if you would have been at my day job in the morning, I help with kids since I'm so dyslexic. I love to help kids read. And I love help to get kids through their troubles. And so that's why I stay a couple hours in the morning to help kids at my elementary school. I do my intuitive work kind of through the back door, through the quiet door, and with that, it's like, oh my gosh, today was one of those days where we had kids left and right just having troubles and not really respecting boundaries, not respecting people's wishes and wants for them to do better. They were on their own agenda, and it's. Have you ever heard of the people of the insane asylum is in control? Well, that's kind of what. What was I saying about your husband? I'm so sorry, I got interrupted because Regan was starting to pop in here, so squirreled a little bit there. I apologize, Sue. That your hubby, it's time if he can get back and see his dad. That this would be a good time to do that, so that he doesn't have um how do I want to say this? Those quiet little whispers of regret, that I have an understanding that your husband can get how he deals with emotions, that it comes out kind of quietly. And so with that, if he can get back with his dad a little bit and have those last conversations, just one more, that would be a gift, so that he can do it. He's going this week, already planned. Good. I'm so glad. I'm so glad. So that, because I know that that's one thing that my friend, who didn't get back to see her, um, her mom, she had some guilt when I saw her on Sunday, and mom didn't hold any. Mom has passed. Was talking to me and was saying that she had no troubles with her daughter being where she was, that she loves her daughter and is grateful for everything that she did for her, and it's our story, our scenario, our disability, disability, our inability to trying to break up those words, because it's not a disability like somebody who doesn't have the ability to use their arm or leg or vision, or hearing, that the dis or the inability to go and do what we want to do. People on the other side aren't attached to it, and even people who just pass, they can say that, um that it's okay. It's really okay. Oh, you were close to home, Regan. You were close to home.
Well,
Did you rush home and then
yeah.
get in the van and run in here?
Yep. I figured it'd be a little easier instead of messing with the internet. Just get home where I could get here in my office. So
Well, good job. Thank you. I so appreciate you wanting to be here.
yeah,
But and we were talking about guilt a little bit, and hoping you weren't feeling guilty about, life happening, and Peter was saying, thank goodness. He was saying, um let's see, he was what did he say? He goes, Regan said that, or I mean, Peter said, call the paramedics. And then he says, push the call button, nurse, for the nurse. And then and now he's saying, thank goodness. See, I knew that Regan was okay. I have an understanding about things. So, if I now I have someone who I have not been able to get a hold of her, and I am worried about her. So, I know when to worry and when not to worry. That's where it's good to be intuitive, I think.
yeah.
Yeah. So we were starting to talk. Sue asked some questions about her father-in-law, and I was able to give some guidance.
Okay.
And because her father-in-law was getting close to passing. And so with that she was asking for some help with that. So I was giving that to her.
Wow. Everybody's going through it right now, um, crazy, So, um, luckily, right now at this moment, we don't have anybody like in hospice and that, but plenty of it in the last year, going through with friends and things. So, and well, and then they're saying like here in San Francisco area, COVID's got down to just 5 people out of 100,000 now.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
that's down really a lot. So they're not having, just saying, don't worry about wearing a mask and just go about your business pretty much right now, which is good.
Yeah. Now I'm in the elementary school system, and I walked into to second grade, and everybody's like, and I'm like going, okay, I'm wearing a mask.
Why not?
And I didn't necessarily not get anything, but I sure didn't get the full blown all out on the couch. I
Yeah.
feel so terrible feeling. I actually just have a little bit of stuffy nose, and mainly because I'm eating dairy more than I have a cold.
Well, what's interesting is because COVID now is, when people get it, they say it's pretty much like just when you get the flu, maybe a little worse for some people, but the symptoms are more minor. But, you know, maybe it'll be with COVID. We take it just for granted, like we do the flu season every year, which is interesting because the flu kills a lot of people. People get the flu every year, but we're just so used to it being there, and we know people are going to die every year because of that we just go about our, if we get the flu, we get the flu. But it's just funny how as human beings, everything is like panic, panic, panic. And then when a human being gets used to that, it's like sometimes these guys, I'm thinking of the Ukrainian soldiers and everybody in war, after a month of it, they just kind of get used to it. You know,
Yeah.
the daily, if they die, they die. They just go into battle every day. And you get kind of numbed to seeing death and that awful stuff that's going on. So and maybe that's a survival thing we have as humans because if we're going around worrying about every little thing all the time, we wouldn't be able to do anything. So maybe we do that. And sometimes it gets that way in relationships. There's like women that I deal with a lot that are in abusive relationships. They just take it as a matter of fact. After a while, they just figure, well, my husband's going to abuse me, and that's just the way it is.
Yeah.
Because you get used to it, which is not good.
Exactly, exactly. And that's the story about life, and the that we have all these emotions that run around and deal with it. And for me, going living with my husband, was an alcoholic for 21 years of our now 31 years, 32 years, 34 years together, 32 years together as married, that because he's celebrating his 10-year anniversary. So we were 22 years married is what it was. That, I kind of was like, got numb to his drinking.
Yeah.
Um, got numb to a lot of things that, um, to the little things. And then when he got pulled over for his last time, it was like the reality of, oh my gosh, it woke me up. It woke me back up again to say this was worse than I thought it was because I got so numb.
Yeah.
And I really had to work through the guilt of having my two children and getting numb, you know getting used to the abuse, getting used to a lot of the struggles, and whatever we're doing. And that's the thing in this metaphorical mask, like Peter was saying, that he's still got, his grandfather wore a mask, but still got hit by a bus. It's like you can use
Yeah.
that as a metaphor if it's real. And I apologize if I don't trust it's real, but that statement, if you use it as a metaphor of and it happening for real, that we do these things to protect ourselves. We do these things to do, to get our way through life. If that means a mask, but we still have to look both ways at the street, you know, we still have to be paying attention. And, we can't be guilty about all these things that we're doing in the past because, we're doing it to survive. We're doing things to do. We're doing things that, that, that it's amazing how, sorry, I was checking in on something intuitively when I was kind of in that moment.
Yeah.
So when we're going through something and managing our life, that it is wise to look and remember where we're at and what we're doing, and really check into where we're at emotionally. Sometimes we get guilt about something later when we forget where we're at. And, sometimes we're really tired. We're not doing our better. We're really run down, And I'm going to use you an example. You planned on being here. You were doing errands like you wonderfully do, and then you got delayed, and then your mobile data didn't work. It's nothing to feel guilty about.
Yeah. No, it's just
It's
what it is.
yeah. It just it's one of those things that life happens, and then we got to do it. And we're human going through the process of what we're going through, and that's the amazing thing. That's the amazing thing.
Yeah. So we had Sue and Peter today, and like today, I'm just getting over a little bit of a headache today. It's not bad. It's, just one of those ones that's kind of lingering in the background, like a pilot light,
Uh-huh.
And I always hate taking aspirins or something, but it seems like about, I don't know, half a dozen times a year, I'll take an Excedrin or something and it'll make it go away.
Mm-hmm.
But, I, so many things to, like I say, to deal with. And, but I have to say, even with all these things, I was like at my anniversary, our 8th anniversary, yesterday, and I'm just
That's
thinking
so
about, yeah, how, and we were thinking how fast it went. We went over all the things and all the way we've changed. Like we were pretty good people when we first met, but we've really gone through when we look back over 8 years, we figure we've changed a lot, and grown a lot, which is good. It feels like we're going in the better direction. Um, and even with all these challenges and, people in our lives passing away and challenges with jobs and security and all that, really feel blessed, that life is in the midst of all this. Life is really, really good.
mm-hmm.
Um, so it was kind of neat to look back, but I was sad at the same time because I thought, gosh, if I just 8 years, this 8 years went by so fast, it seems like a blink. And I'm thinking it's going to be 8 more years. And gosh, I'm going to be 90. No, it's what, I'll be 80 years old then, and I just thinking, oh my gosh, because I know what 80-year-old people seem like a lot of the time. And I think, God, I don't want to be that old. But here I'm 72 right now. And if I would have thought of myself at 72 when I was 60, I would have said the same thing. And here life is wonderful.
Well,
Like,
me observing you for the week I was there, getting up off the ground like a 30-year-old,
no,
and having the energy of somebody who would respectfully be 40 or 50 years old. I'm quite amazed of you. And
Well, I do better than a lot of people I see that are my age, but I never used to think twice about getting up off the floor. You wouldn't even, you just get up, you just get up. But now every time that I do, you can feel those muscles, where you have to, you realize I'm having to stand up right now, where before you would just do it.
Uh-huh.
So I had to, matter of fact, I think that would be a good topic for maybe next week or sometime next few months, is dealing with aging. You know, how do,
Oh.
these physical bodies, because I think it's something that, you know, like when I was 20, 30 was like, oh my God, I'm going to be an old man. And then when I was 30, then it was like 40 and then 50. And having lived through it, that I can give a pretty good perspective and see that I wouldn't switch my age now to be 40 if I had to be the consciousness I was at 40. And
Oh.
I thought it was pretty enlightened back then at 40. But when I look back now with everything, it's just like you give up physically, your physical body, but you mature spiritually, and that's so much more awesome, than a physical age. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
and how, we talk about when we're on the other side, we're as young or old as we want to be over there, just, it's like, it's not even an issue because we're eternal, so yeah, just, I just know with a lot of people, it's something that, not just me, but a lot of my clients who go through that tour mentioned about, like thinking of the woman I had that was a dancer, and is a client, and she'd been on Broadway and in dance troupes and stuff for 20, 30 years, and now
Mm-hmm.
in her 50s, and she's not getting the parts anymore. And she realizes because she's in her 50s. And when I helped her get in that trance level, and she expanded her awareness to the afterlife, and she was talking to the council over there, they said, well, you're getting a little bit older. Maybe you should think about being a teacher instead. And she, she's just going, oh, but in reality, she knows, she's accepting that now, but what was nice was over there was a place that, in heaven, where people get inspiration for dance. And I told that story one time before, but I asked the guy that she was with, I said, well, can she go there? And then all of a sudden she's in this auditorium, and I said, what are you seeing? She's, oh, there's some people over here that looks like kind of like the cha-cha. And over here, somebody's doing the waltz, and somebody over here is doing like freeform. And it confused me because what kind of music are they listening to that everybody can dance that way? And she says, oh, everybody's hearing the music they need to hear to be able to do their dance.
Uh-huh.
And that's what made it real to me, that, yeah, she's really there. She's in heaven. But then I asked the person in charge of the room there, and her guide, I said, well, is there someone here that teaches salsa? Because that's her big thing. She's been looking for a salsa partner here, but never been able to find anybody as good as her, that way. And all of a sudden, the salsa instructor shows up, and we said, is he the best dancer in heaven, like with salsa? And they go, yeah. And then I said, well, can my client dance with them? And they said, sure. So she's in trance or something. And then to just smile on her face. And then and she came out and she goes, oh my God, that was the coolest things, dancing. So that's the kind of partner I want down here,
Uh-huh.
It's amazing
Oh, what fun.
what we found about that. And Natasha, did you get any surprises still about things that you find out from the other side, or things that happen or have you had so much contact all the time that you pretty much know the routine, know what's happening? Or does sometimes something happen and you go, whoa, that's really neat. I didn't know that before.
Yeah, there are things. And so how do I describe this? That I have my soul is a very old soul. So I've been around many loops of this lifetimes.
Yeah.
and and with that there are things that are links. Like if I know something, let's say if I know something like my hand, But then there's this link that kind of goes off. I didn't necessarily know that link, but I knew about the hand, but I didn't know, oh, that little finger has, let's say, 13 blood vessels in it. I may not know the detail of that part of the hand, but I do have an understanding of the finger, the basicness of it, and the wisdom of the whole dance. And many times, like when I was on the radio yesterday, I do a radio show the third Sunday of every month with an animal behaviorist. And like there was somebody who asked about, she was kind of in a trance state, kind of awake but not awake, and she saw somebody who was walking through her house, and she asked who was it, and I said, well, it's a soul, a part of a soul of someone who was alive, or who used to live in the house. And she goes, well, is she dead? And I said, no, she's still alive, but she's ready to cross over. And I said, this is kind of like that soul collecting, it's the soul retrievals. When we have these experiences where we're at, we leave a part of our soul or an energy mark at that place. It's kind of like, when you get scared, it's like you kind of go, ah, and then and you feel it. Or like if you're driving along the freeway and all of a sudden you feel really weird, and you find out later there was a major car accident right there. You kind of, there's an energy mark that goes through it, and that's why, like, you go back onto the on like a lot of the battlefields, you see spirits walking through like a timestamp. They keep doing the same thing because that soul did something that was life altering at that moment, and it left a spark. It left something of that soul. And this person was still alive, but she was ready to cross over, and so her parts of her soul were kind of vibrating at a different level, I would say. And this person was just at the right time, at the right moment in her awareness, that she was able to see it. And what I gave her some tools really quickly on the radio, and I asked her to give me a call in person if she needed more help with this, to help that part of that soul go back with the other soul, to help with the soul retrieval. Because what a soul retrieval is that you go back, you're here, and you go, oh, when I was a kid, something happened, and you go back to that part of that time, and you say, okay, my little self, come with me. Remember, I'm an adult now. Let's walk forward. And this is a quick version of a 20-minute or 30-minute meditation, and you ask that part of your soul to come and collect with you now so that you can be a cleaner self. That it's one of those things that going forward. And is your head okay? You seem like you're still hurting with your headache.
Yeah, a little bit, but I'm forgetting about it as we're talking. Now that you brought it up again, I can feel it.
Oh, sorry.
Well, yeah. So, in the research we're doing, this just, we pretty much know what happens now when people die, where they go, what they do, whether they're till they decide to come back or not come back again, and kind of how heaven works. But one of the masters or teachers over there, when we asked about, is this actually heaven? And it was what we were kind of shown is this is a speck of heaven, and that heaven, it's just like, God is so huge that even in these parts of heaven, he's unknowable, I mean, it's just that big, and we're just this little grain of sand, but it's funny. It's like we're this little tiny grain of sand in all the sand in the universes, but each of us is just as important as the other, and each of us is that way, which is kind of cool, that way. Yeah. Oh, so for people listening to another podcast you can find on YouTube and it's the one Natasha's, they want you on. Did Sister get a hold of you? She said in a few days she would contact you. Sister Mary something. It's called Vestiges After Dark. Vestiges After Dark, and it's a podcast been going on for a number of years now by a Catholic bishop, a Catholic priest from Catholic bishop is like East Coast America somewhere, and then there's a Catholic priest that's in Australia, and then a sister that's also Sister Mary. Gosh, I forget now, and they're a little bit on the fringes of Catholicism. They're Catholic and everything, and that but they're open to finding out about mediums, finding out about reincarnation. They're just saying, look, we're just open to this. We're just trying to figure everything out like everybody else. But and two of them, the bishop and the nun, are ex-police officers. And later on in life, they went back and did their studies and became the nun, and the priest who became a bishop. So they have delightful topics they talk about, and it's just called Vestiges After Dark. So you guys look them up if you see that, and if you interact with them, tell them that Regan or Natasha sent you. Yeah, just fun. They're just good people.
Yeah, I'll have to. I have not had. My life is kind of blown up a little bit, so I haven't had a chance to really look it up. But I do want to look it up. So.
Yeah, look it up and see, because they said
what was it again?
Vestiges.
Vestiges. That's a Catholic word.
Right.
Vestiges, or a religious word. Vestiges.
Yeah.
Vestiges.
After Dark.
Vestiges After Dark.
Yeah, but watch some of their stuff, or you can see when I was a guest on there a couple of times. And they were so inquisitive and so open to hearing about what we've discovered about the afterlife, and through the Newton Institute here. So it was pretty darn entertaining. So, you and I are still learning new things all the time about the afterlife. And the more that I do this, the bigger that the world, the bigger that the universe, the bigger that the God worlds become.
Yes.
And it's almost like I felt like I could see everything, and now they're expanding the things we're knowing about so big, and it's kind of gotten to a neat place right now where I think, you know what, just relax, Regan. It's so big that there's no way to comprehend it all. So don't try to blow your brain up trying to think that you're going to know everything there is to know about the afterlife. But you and I both found that the afterlife is a good place.
Yes.
It's a place of it's like what you would want it to be.
Yeah. Because it's the after and before life. It's the full. It's what life is in the middle of us having a physical form.
Yeah.
And thank you, Peter, for mentioning that. I'll talk to him after the show. It's one of those things that living life and doing life that it's taking advantage. And that's one thing that, even though we really haven't talked about guilt on this show very much today, that it's we have all these emotions, we have all this baggage that happens, we have all these things that happen in our life, and yet at the same time we are here just a short time. We're really here just a short time. And I know that my friend who just passed last Monday, I knew that he would cross over quickly, and he was so connected to the outer world that him being in the physical body was almost painful. And so with that I knew that he'd be a clean speaker pretty much right away, like my dad was. That now, like he says, look, I'm trekking. He loved to trek. He liked to climb. We have something called the coulees over here that it's almost like desert, and there's a river basin that goes through it. It's one of the major dams, that the Coulee Dam. It's one of the Washington, Maine.
Coulee Dam before, but never knew where it was.
Yeah, it's in Washington, eastern Washington. and it's one of the major riverways there. And he used to go and sit up on the top, and he'd be able to see for miles. And then he would really connect with the star people, the star region, and he'd really connect with a lot of the people up there. And so with him, he had a hard time being down here, and now he says, "I'm trekking everywhere."
Wow,
It's
wow.
it's amazing to be uh um it's just amazing to hear the joy that he has, in being on the other side again.
Yeah, and that's the part when I think about getting old, and I think, well, since I know now because of the all these thousands of people that have been to the afterlife and back, that when I leave this body and get that perspective, I'm gonna everything's gonna be. It's like going from this place which I really love to another place which I'm gonna realize I love even more.
Hmm.
like you get out of one play, like the play ran for so many months, and like in Broadway, and then the last night, because I've done plays before. Um, the last night, everybody's sad and they have an after party, and everybody's crying and hugging each other and going, oh, but about a month or two later, you're into another play, which is you're even more excited about than the other one, and you forget all the people, you forget everything because you're so excited about the new play. That's
Hmm.
kind of like what people describe when I have them do a past life regression and they pass away. Excuse me. Usually, if they've had a difficult life, once they leave their body, it's this sense of like, like, oh, I'm so glad I'm out of that body. It was so difficult, especially with a lot of people that die of, excuse me, of like emphysema or some sort of like a like regular.
But you had a cough, kind of got that COVID,
Well,
and you got it right after you took the vaccination, the shingles vaccination. You got really
yeah,
off. You got
yeah.
really off after that vaccination,
I
and
don't
so
think it.
you're breathing. You've been a little coughety since then.
I have been. Well, when I went, I was doing pretty good. Then when I went to Mexico, I think I was too close to where they were sanding and all that stuff, and there was dust and particles in the air. Because about the second day or the third day when I was there, out of the 8 days, I started having this cough, and I haven't got rid of it yet. But I think that's because my lungs are a bit compromised. Um, like they haven't got totally better. So if they get any dirt or anything in there, so I have to go on the. Which reminds me, I need to go on the internet and find out if there's a good lung cleansing
Ah,
natural herb or something like that. I got to get that because it's just isn't going away unless I had COVID and I didn't know it and I only got the cough portion, because I I did have that also.
no,
I don't think it was.
no. I think that you got compromised in spring when you
Yeah,
and your body just hasn't accomplished its fullity of
yeah.
lung power.
I'm getting
And
frustrated because I just want to be able to not have this cough and and breathe again. It'd be nice. And thinking about getting old, I was laying in bed and I was my lungs were, it was like, was a little hard to breathe, which it feels like right now. So you notice your breathing, and I'm thinking, gosh, I don't know any machine that they've made or something that would, you just think the 72 years, and I think, gosh, every machine I know or I've had, any part on my car and everything is good for just a few years or 10 years or 15 years, but then it goes out, and I'm thinking,
uh-huh.
I've got this machine right here that's gone 72 years, and just think how many breaths I've taken since I was born, and it's just every few seconds, every few seconds, every few seconds, and and you think, wow, it's magnificent, uh, these machines we have here, these bodies, that we can have. Well, I guess according to biology, I guess we regrow our organs and stuff constantly, so like we're like renewing ourselves all the time, and it
Exactly, because our cells rejuvenate all the
yeah,
time, and it's one of those things that as we're going forward and managing our life, that our bodies do. So what I'll do is do you have to go right away?
No.
After the show, I will check. I have a book that says what our lungs are about,
Okay.
and a lot of times when we look at the metaphorical, the spiritual realm of what lungs, because lungs are about breathing your life in,
Yeah.
absorbing your whole life. And I know that you carry a lot of energetic weight of trying to do the right thing all the
Yeah.
time, and
Hmm.
so sometimes that process of being able to breathe in the fullness of who you are, it gets overshadowed by wanting to be the gentleman, the support,
Yeah.
and your loving other half is very much proactive and going all the time,
Yeah.
and it is a very much of a strong personality. And so a lot of times, when we don't step into being a full breath, it makes it harder
Yeah.
to
And,
move
and
forward and that kind of stuff.
I don't think we did one a year or so ago about uh, what physical ailments usually represent psychologically
Uh-huh.
or beneath, and that'd be another good one. If you got your book out there and we could read the different ailments, the most common ones people have, and what it usually relates to, because anybody watching this, almost everybody's got some sort of
Something.
some sort of issue. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And I know a lot of stuff because I'm not part of the medical system, but I do scan the body. I can scan the body and do kind of my own intuitive knowledge of things, and that's what I'm doing, Parker. So or Peter, that so I'm taking care of things too. So I don't worry that when we're going forward in our life and managing that, it is wise to listen to our body. And because when we hold on our emotions, when we hold on our guilt, when we hold on to a lot of these different things, that it does affect us. And when we have a hard time breathing in our life, breathing in our knowledge, breathing in and trusting the processes of things, that it's really it really affects the way that we breathe. It really affects the that how do we expand our rib cage, how do we expand our knowings.
Yeah.
Parker Peter says that he says, you're just a lovely man, Regan. So thank you.
Oh, thanks,
Thank
Peter.
you. Yeah. Uh, so he was kind of mentioning about your cough and stuff like that. So he was just he was like, "Yeah, have you gone to the doctor?" And I said, that's why I've said, don't worry.
Yeah, well,
So
Patty wants me to contact Kaiser, and the reason I didn't is because I think, well, I don't want any medication or something like that. But she says no. A lot of times now, Kaiser will try to find a healthy or a natural way first. They'll even recommend things like that. And I went, oh yeah, that's right, because I know they're open to acupuncture now, and different alternative things that Kaiser covers. So it may just be a piece of the puzzle. But I
well,
just
I know
thinking.
that doing, sorry about interrupting. I know that the acupressure points and reflexology and stuff like that can open the lung ways, and
Yeah,
that kind of helps to.
right here, I think, is the one of the acupuncture point. We'd use that in the emotional freedom technique or tapping, and I think that's one right here, either there or there. That the junction box here and the junction box here, identical both sides, goes to the lungs, I think.
Yeah,
So
yeah, exactly.
I need to do
And
that a
and
little more.
and that's the thing about treating our life better, treating our emotions better, treating our realisticness about ourselves better. It does help our bodies. It really does help our bodies.
So I don't mind being the guinea pig here. So anybody watching that has lung issues, like, what do I need to kind of, what more specifically, what do you think things are that I'm blind to, that I'm not doing, or that I'm reluctant to change in my life, that would be causing these lung issues?
We'll see, but I can tell you that knowing you, that a lot of times it's that you care more about others than you care about yourself.
Yeah.
And it's finding the healthy way of balancing it out.
Yeah.
Like if you know that you're going to have a busy day the next day, that you go to bed just a little earlier so that your body gets enough rest as you
Yeah,
roll your eyes.
actually, that's one of the problems that I have. Like, I would feel good if, like, especially when I have a client the next day and I know it's going to be a 5 or 6 hour session. And I always try to get at least 6 hours of sleep. But I think, you know what? How about if I get 7 or 8?
Uh-huh.
When I feel a little more rested. But I do have a hard time getting myself, even when I'm like falling asleep, like I'm watching a movie or something like that, that I'm not even really that into. And I'm just sitting there and I know you should go to bed, Regan. And I go, oh, I don't know. You
You
know,
and I are a lot alike that way because, but I have to tell myself, I have to get it at this end because I'm not going to get it at that end.
yeah. And I think that, more sleep, I think, for one thing, because that's when your body rejuvenates itself too.
Hmm.
So if you don't give it enough time, what do you expect?
Exactly, exactly.
More
And so
sleep.
with and that's that part of, because of the fact that, getting up a little bit later, you get more into a rush and then you're trying to catch up with what everybody else is wanting to do and you get left behind a
Yeah.
little bit.
Yeah.
So love you. That's an observation of love.
Well, I have done a little bit better. Instead of going to bed like at 4 in the morning, I've been going to bed by 2, 3 o'clock a lot of the time. I'm trying to back that up. I'd be happy if I could just go to bed between like midnight and 2, and then get up at 8, 9, right around there, because I get so much more done, if I'm ready to work by 10 a.m. And that's funny for some people. They go, God, I'm like Patty. She's ready to go full bore around 6:30 or 7 in the morning,
Uh-huh.
and she does it. But so yeah, I need to do more of that. So, and also find out if they have an herb or they have something that's good to be taken in addition to me getting more sleep, and to be realizing sometimes when, it's not, I don't have to feel guilty, right? As we're talking about guilt today, guilty about uh, putting everybody so much first that I acting as if I don't count as a person I should be kind
You
to.
should be, yeah, you should be part of the list. So, Sue says, um, do you do salt baths,
No,
or
I
have a
think
salt
something.
lamp? And I have a lot of salt lamps around my house, and they're the orange glowing ones.
Yeah.
And they do cleanse the air. Thank you, Sue, for bringing that up because,
Oh,
when you do something all the time yourself, you kind of forget. But the salt lamps are really good for
I've seen people
deodorizing.
have those, but I didn't know. I got to write that down. Thank you, Sue. I'll.
And they add a nice glow. Like I use one
Oh
for
yeah,
nightlight in my bedroom where I have it up against behind a picture, um, uh, a picture behind it, and it really helps with. Let me see if I can
yeah. But
find
gotta find my
my
here.
picture really quick here.
But yeah, so I could put
Salt
salt lamp. I'll
lamps.
check that out, and then some herbs or something which is good for the lungs.
Yeah.
Go to bed sooner. See, part of me is reluctant even to write that because I know for some reason, I don't know why, it doesn't make logical sense, but something in my subconscious goes, no, don't listen to them. Just go.
No, not part of my system. But I can tell you that my body also struggled with that one myself, and I really had to convince it that it was part of the journey
Yeah.
of finding unity in the next day.
What do you mean finding unity?
So, in other words, instead of struggling through my day, I would be in unity. I would be in communion with it. I would be in flow of the synchronicities better instead of being troublesome, being tripping up a lot, being um, not in the greater flow of the possibilities that we can all
Yeah.
have.
Yeah. Well, this is great. So salt lamp, we got to check that out. Like, or to have even in where I spend a lot of time in the office here, to having a purifier, a room, air purifier, so that I'm breathing in fresh air all day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, go, get a little more sleep, take care of myself a little better that way, just to be kinder to myself.
Be
Um,
kinder. And because like for me, I may not go to sleep for another hour, hour and a half, 2 hours, but I read. I do something quiet
yeah,
in my bed, and that does help me to shut down because I know that my brain works a lot at
yeah,
night, and it helps shut me down. Because the technology, I use a Kindle, and so I'm not getting a lot of the technical like phone type of stuff. So
yeah,
it's one of those things. I was looking for my picture for my because I have it in my in my health corner of my bedroom. I have a salt lamp, and I was going to show you how I do it so that it's a nice glow, but it's not a harsh glow. But I'm not finding it real quick here, so I'm going to let it go.
yeah.
Um,
I think actually someone gave me one years ago that it was a small one,
mhm.
little thing, and I might be able to even find that. And I just didn't know what they were for. I thought, oh, they're pretty, that way, but I didn't know what.
Oh yeah, they're great for cleansing. You do not want to put them where there's going to be a lot of water because the salt will go away. Like you don't want to put it in a kitchen window, where you get a lot of the steam and stuff like that. If you have your sink right underneath your kitchen window. Um, but it you could put it pretty much anywhere besides a bathroom. I would not put it in a bathroom. Now I have one outside my bathroom that I
Uh,
light up my hallway and use it as a soft glow for a nightlight.
yeah. Well, that would, because you helped me feng shui my office here, which I'm liking every day. That would be just a nice little addition. And it would be good too for when my clients are here too, just to have nice
Mhm.
clean air in here.
Exactly, exactly. So we are like 15
Oh,
minutes
we're over
over,
already, aren't we? Well,
but you came in about a half an hour late. So
I know. Boy, this time went fast. Uh,
Well, we hope that even though this show was not on the conversation that we meant to have, that we kind of showed you how that working through life, we don't have to hold on to any of these things that we hold on to, like guilt and shame and all that kind of stuff. If you notice, Regan and I are just like, it was what it was, and it is what it is, and we did what we're supposed to do, which is be the better we could be. So
yeah.
it's one
I,
of those things.
yeah, we need to. Yeah, we kind of got off track there because of everything that happened today. But we should talk at least part in another show about guilt, because that's such a heavy subject for most people. Everybody's carrying some guilt on their shoulders. It's almost like if you could see like red bricks, and bricks representing guilt, and you were walking down a mall and you could see those bricks. I mean, some people would be stooping over, so the weight from those
Mhm.
bricks would be, almost killing them, and
Exactly.
I don't think except if you saw an angel coming down. And angels probably got a few bricks too, because they're developing souls too, and we're all,
Hmm.
looking for, you know, perfection in a way.
Exactly. Exactly. So, Regan, how can anybody get a hold of you?
Well, visit
I'm still looking for that
theafterlife.com.
picture.
Yeah, visit theafterlife.com is my website, and there's some great videos on there. Um, I'm mostly working with the Newton Institute now, and we're doing research in the afterlife. So we have a process where um, uh, we help people achieve a really deep state of trance, which almost everybody can reach. Sometimes takes some longer than others, but they can get there. And in that state, you expand your awareness to the other side, and you become like a medium in a sense. That you have access to all this information. And we've discovered, I think, 8 different stations over there so far of where people visit, and it's life changing for a lot of our clients. So we're not touting any particular religion. We're just researching and saying, hey, this when people are in this beautiful state. They have a natural ability, like a little God switch, I call it, to go to a past life easy, go to the afterlife where you go between lives. Anyway, it could be done virtually online, which is kind of amazing, but or it can be done in person if there's a therapist in your area, because there's 250 of us worldwide now. But I also do regular therapy, do a lot on Zoom with post-traumatic stress, fears and phobias, depression, anxiety, and there's some really great modalities out there that work well for helping you reduce those. So just watch the videos, go to the different tabs on my site, and if you need some help, then get a hold of me there. And what about you, Natasha?
Oh, this is my health corner, and if you can see that orange glow, can you try to get it to where?
Well, okay, it's clear.
Yeah, I have it right behind this picture right here, so you can kind of see the orange glow right in there. That let me kind of get it focused here.
Like those salt lamps last a long time.
They do. They last a long time. Now the light bulbs sometimes burn out, and sometimes the connection to the light bulb burns out, but the salt lamp is always good. But see, this is in my bedroom, and the salt lamp can get kind of bright to me.
Yeah.
So I put it behind this picture so that at
Oh.
night it just adds a nice warm glow going up.
Nice.
I had a picture of it at night, and it just has this nice warm glow coming up, and so that's one way that I use it in my bedroom for adding some fresh air, and it cleanses a lot of smells. It's amazing what it does, and you don't even notice it's really doing. Now it's not perfect. It's not like a deodorizer, but yet it does help, and it will add a nice glow to your office too.
Yeah. Okay.
So people can reach me at angelicclarifications.com. I am one who loves to help people through emotions. If you can see, I negotiate life very well. And I love to tap into these different dimensions to help you become your truer, better calling self. And so with that angelicclarifications.com. Please come and watch us Mondays and Wednesdays at 4:00 Pacific time. So Mondays it's the Dance of the Soul with Regan, and on Wednesdays it's just me talking, or unless I have a guest, talking about life strategies and the abilities. Where on Wednesdays we usually talk, or Mondays we usually talk about more life, doing the dance of things, and how the soul does the walk, and that kind of stuff. And if you can't find us here, you can find it on my YouTube channel and Facebook here. So please subscribe and like. And also we are on podcasts now. A lot of our older shows are there right now, which are always very relevant for what we're doing now in life, because our shows are timeless. We can talk about something, and even if it's about a full moon, apply it to the next full moon. If we're talking about a solstice or an anniversary, apply it to the next anniversary, and that kind of thing. So doing what we can. So look for Natasha Venter Life Clarifications. Blessings, everyone. We'll see you next Monday with Regan, and Wednesday for Life Clarifications with Natasha. Bye now.
See you later.